Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our trip to Switzerland and bring you guys along for a factory tour. While we were there, we had the opportunity to see behind the scenes, learn some about the history of B&T and how they got started, but also they shared with us some really cool historical pieces and some very, very cool, really rare collector's items, things that I never even dreamed of seeing. That's all in this video. So now let's get started by heading over to Switzerland and checking out the manufacturing of B&T. So how many of you have heard of a pistol called the well rod? I can hear your keyboards clicking right now for some of you. I'll save you some time. The well rod was a pistol developed right around 1942 for irregular forces use during World War II, special operations, covert operations. And it was a very simplistic pistol that was used to be extremely silent. So it'd be for sentry removal, assassinations, whatnot, covert operations. Well, B&T has resurrected that legendary pistol. In Europe, they call it the VP9. In the United States, it'll probably have a different name, but let's take a look at this. This is a European packaging. This is the VP9 in its case. And I'll kind of give you a breakdown of what the pistol is. So those of you that are familiar with the well rod will right off the bat recognize the profile. It is very, very similar. This one has a trigger guard. The original did not. But the concept, even the construction and design, is very similar. Now, the original pistols were very crude, wartime production. They were made in England, and some people say they were used as late as 1982 in the Falkland Wars. The original was chambered in 7.65 Browning, or what we call 32 ACP. Some were manufactured in 9mm. This one is a 9mm. Now, this has many of the same features as the original. Here we have a grip safety. We have a very similar shaped trigger. However, we're using polymers now versus rubber and steel and stampings, although the trigger guard is stamped. It's a bolt-action pistol. Over here, we have a magazine release. This is a little bit different than the original, but you push the button, and the pistol grip is actually the magazine, so it's integral to the pistol grip itself. You have the sights here on the VP9. It's a bolt-action pistol, so you would pull the bolt to the rear, insert the magazine, close the bolt. The gun is ready to fire once the grip safety is depressed. Now, this one has the wiped suppressor installed. It comes with two silencers. This one is called the training silencer. This has a standard design, meaning it's using baffles. The suppressor that's currently installed is using wipes, which is a traditional method because that's what the original well rod used. And this is a modern wipe. It's not made of the same material that they would have used in the 40s. This is a modern polymer wipe. You'll see there's an X. That X marks where the projectile will pass through the wipe. The wipe contacts the bullet, hence the name wipe. And they sit inside the suppressor body. It's not designed for accuracy. It's designed for being quiet and taking close range shots on enemy targets. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 rounds of 9mm, has a 5-round magazine. It's going to load 4 and load those rounds into the VP9's mag. I'm going to put some eyes on, but I'm not going to wear ears. It's not required. This thing is silly quiet. To make the weapon ready to fire, you take the magazine, insert it into the grip. The bolt is open. To load the weapon, all I have to do is push the bolt forward and rotate so that the red lines align. And with the grip safety depressed, the weapon is now ready to fire. There are no other safeties on the pistol. Let's see what this thing sounds like. I can hear the bullet hit the trap down range. Now, to load the next round, you simply turn the knob, pull this sharply to the rear. You hear a kind of thump. That's because there's gas pressure trapped inside of the can because of the wipe. The wipe seals itself behind the passage of the bullet. That's how it achieves such incredible suppression. All right, to reload it, I just simply push the bolt forward, turn it, and take another shot. I have to chuckle, guys, because this is really quiet. Again, turn sharply to the rear. You'll hear that, and the weapon's ready to fire. Heard something metallic. Now keep in mind, this bullet is passing through the wipe and it's touching it, and it's not known for accuracy, but it has a very nice trigger pull. And we have one more round. All right, and there we go. To make the weapon safe, simply drop the magazine out, and that is the VP9. But wait, there's more. Here I have a box of 7.65 Browning 32 ACP. It's a much smaller cartridge than the 9mm. Let's take 3 rounds of this out and grab this rather rustic looking old magazine with a piece of rubber around it. It seems to accept 32 ACP. And what I have in my hands is an original well rod. See the similarities? We have the knurled bolt handle back here, rudimentary sights, although the front sight's much further out. The suppressor is integral to the design, so you're not going to be swapping out the suppressor for a different type of suppressor like you can with the VP9. This does use wipes, okay, but it would have been a different material, wouldn't have been polymers. Has the same bolt action mechanism. We have the same style of trigger, but we do not have a trigger guard. And this is the grip safety, which is just a simple piece of sheet metal. To load the weapon, just like the VP9. Now this has a latch on the back, and now the magazine is inserted to the pistol. Now this is a very small pistol grip, so in my large hands this feels very awkward. The VP9 is far more ergonomic. Grab the pistol sharply, keeping your finger off the trigger. You can see the 32 ACP down in there ready to go into the pipe. Push the bolt home, turn and lock it, and now I'm going to fire a well rod pistol. I've never done this before. That's pretty quiet. All right, just like the VP9, turn, pull sharply to the rear, and chamber that next round. I love this, guys. What an amazing piece of history. All right, and this is my last round. Make the weapon safe. I'm just going to go ahead and drop the magazine out. And guys, look at that. Isn't that incredible? You don't get to shoot a well rod every day, and you don't get to shoot a VP9 every day. It's been a good day. Don't worry, guys, a full GHM9 Generation 2 video is coming. Also, check out the links down below to learn more about the new USW P320 that's out on the market. And now I want to take you guys into a gun store, because when I travel, if it's in the United States or if it's abroad, if there's a gun store nearby, I want to check it out. All right, guys, so right across the street from the B&T factory is a gun store. Now, gun stores are common in Switzerland, just as they are in the United States, but there are some distinct differences. Now, I'll touch upon some of the Swiss gun laws. I'm not that well versed in them as with American gun laws. They're somewhat complex, but the overall gist is that it's much easier to buy a gun in this country, in many cases, than it is in the United States. And certain things like machine guns are legal here, and getting the license to own them is relatively easy to do, unlike the United States, where they've been banned since 1986. So let's look at this first rack. We have some AR-15s here, M4 configuration, 20-inch barrel configurations. Coming down the line, we have an old discontinued SIG XI We have some hunting rifles, and depending on the type of firearm you want to purchase, you get a different license. But again, keep in mind it's not that difficult to get a license. In essence, you run by the local police department. They give you a printout of your police record showing you're not a felon. You request a license. They issue it immediately. In this particular canton, which is a state or a province, at gun shows, they'll have licensing people sitting right there. So you'll find a gun that you want, you walk over and say, hey, here's my police report. They'll give you a license, and you can buy up to 3 firearms with 1 license. And there's no limit to the number of licenses you can acquire. All right, so you have your standard AR-15s. We have some bolt-action hunting rifles here, have some pump-action shotguns. We have a SP5K. We have these in the United States, but you will notice that this does have the side folding stock on it, and that's because, unlike the United States and the land of the free and the home of the brave, we would have to pay $200 and wait 6 months to a year to have permission to put a stock on it. Here, they don't have an NFA, and they don't consider a short barrel to be exceptionally dangerous, as we do in the United States. Now, what you guys are really going to flip out over, because I've never handled one before, I've only seen them in pictures, and that is the civilian G36, or the 243. If I were a Swiss citizen, I could walk in here today, go, dang, I think I want this. Has a side folding stock. This one's in flat dark earth. And if I had 2,174 francs, which is roughly a 1-to-1 conversion to US dollars. So for about $2,100, I could go home with my HK G36, or what this is called as a 243 model, which is the civilian version of the G36. Not available in the United States because of our import laws. Sitting right next to this is going to drive the HK fans nuts, because it's driving me nuts. This is an MR223, which would be the equivalent of the MR556A1 in the United States. This one has the multicolored receiver and furniture. And again, if you wanted to buy this rifle, you walk in, present your license, pay your money, and take your gun home. There are all sorts of cool things here. Now you'll notice different muzzle devices. We have flash hiders, we have bare muzzles. This is an MR762A1. Here they call it the MR308. But yeah. Let's walk over into this corner, guys. This is going to make you sick. Wall kind of exemplifies Swiss gun laws. Everything you see here, I could walk in and buy and go home with. Bolt action rifle, integrally suppressed, USW with its stock, APC9 with its stock, TMP with its stock, and vertical fore-end grip. Again, no NFA here. Walk in with your license, say, gee, I think today I'm going to buy a 300 Blackout, and present my license, pay my money, and go home. Look at this. All right, guys, so look at this one. I spotted this when I walked in. This is what we know as the Chinese NDM86. This was in 7.62 by 54R. I have one of these. This was in brand new condition. If I had 2,495 Swiss francs, I would be able to buy this and go home with it right now. Yeah. Look how clean and new this is. Mine actually looks aged at this point. Gosh, that is gorgeous. Never see them again in the United States. Oh, and the guys back at the shop are gonna love this one. Make sure I don't drop anything here. This is an original used Yugoslavian M7D6. They have it marked Dragunov. This one's $1,195, and it's original 8mm. Look at that nice patina. What a good looking rifle. Not going to see that in the United States coming in anytime soon, unless it's a parts kit. Look at the grips. Mitchell Arms used to import those years and years ago. And if you guys were wondering what a modern Chinese underfolding AK-74 might look like if we could still get them in the United States, this would be it. This is an AK-74. The markings Say SDM Beijing, AKS 74. This one is in 5.56 by 45 NATO. Made in the PRC. Stuff we'll never see again in the United States. Unbelievable. Tavors. Oh, look at this little feller. Bulgarian machined receiver crank with a hobo brake. Underfolding stock. Come in with the proper license and walk out with it the same day. Unbelievable. Envy is not a strong enough word. Okay, guys, this I've seen twice now, and I had to get the story on this. So this is a K31, right? Swiss military bolt action rifle, all right? Straight pull bolt. And you'll notice it's cut off here. On the top of it, you'll notice there's 2 holes. Those 2 holes are spaced about the right distance for your nostril. So this is the story. I hope that it's true. You can see a plunger in here. When that plunger goes up, you'll see little pistons come up. All right, so the bolt's been modified. Firing pin is out of it. You push the bolt home. The plungers aren't up. You take snuff. And the police would do this. You put a little snuff in there before you go on duty and put this in your nose and pull the trigger and it shoots the snuff up your nose. I kid you not. I guess it's an old school police thing. They no longer do it, so I guess those are collectibles perhaps. Here we have some standard 22s, like MP5 22s, stuff we've seen before in the United States. And look at this. Chad, if you're watching this video, buddy, I found a CMR 3022 mag in Switzerland. Let's see what she goes for. 945 Swiss francs. How cool is that? Something else. What a wonderful gun store. Who in the United States wouldn't want a G28? There it is. Right. So, what else do we have? So that's gives you a good sampling of the long guns. Over here we do have some handguns. Let's go see what they have for sale. We have Glock pistols, VP9s, USPs, HK45, I'm sorry, HK45 compact, threaded barrel Glocks, lots of H&K and Glocks. Revolvers, not quite my forte. Ooh, look at that, a BDM that's brand new, Browning High Power right behind it. Sig Sauer pistols, P320s, P230, 2, nice. Nice. Desert Eagle, HK Mark 23. Guys, this is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. This would make any American gun owner envious. Looking at this, it leaves me actually speechless. Let's go to the back side of the store. So 511's quite popular here. I've seen a lot of folks wearing 511 gear in the back of the store. They have some 511. Let's just take a quick look back there. Oh, by the way, suppressors. We have some here. I just realized. Oh, actually, those are ASPs. I thought those were suppressors. My bad. Those are batons. So you can have a baton. Oh, here's a whole bunch of B&T products. Check this out, guys. This is the APC9 SD. So it has an MP5 SD style suppressor on it. So it does tap gases off to slow a standard velocity 9mm round down so that it's subsonic, and then it suppresses it. And yeah, this is a really cool little gun. Oh boy. It makes sense they have all the B&T cool guns here. Let's see what we can find. This is APC 300, so this is a 300 Blackout gun. You'll notice that the stock is a little bit different than what we've seen in the United States. What a very cool gun. All right, let's go back over and take a look at some of the gear. Again, which is really popular. You got your gun cleaning gear, all your backpacks, tactical bags, firearms bags to carry your guns to the range. There are ranges pretty much in every single town here in Switzerland. May have to pick up a flat dark earth boonie hat while I'm here. I have actually the boots that I wear all the time. Some of you guys have asked me what boots I wear. This is the particular style of 511 boot that I wear. And I love these because they have the zipper. I can get in and out of them very quickly. And when I'm traveling at the airports, I just unzip, pop them off, put them back on very quickly. And then we have some jackets. Multi-cam, and they are not inexpensive. 669 Swiss francs. Good stuff. So anyway, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of the Swiss gun stores. I am jealous. I don't think I've ever been to another country in the world that has gun laws like this, and I've never seen a gun store like this, even in the United States. And if I have, all the cool stuff that I like here, I couldn't own. So think about that. All right, guys, so just like in the United States, the Swiss are in a constant fight for their gun rights. Now, keep in mind, the Swiss don't have a Second Amendment like we have. However, they have an organization called Pro-Tel, and Pro-Tel is based on the legend of William Tell, and this is their equivalent of, say, the NRA, GOA, Firearms Policy Coalition, and folks that are not Swiss citizens can also join Pro-Tel. And I am going to take an application, and I'm going to become a Pro-Tel member. Now, what's interesting, guys, is that in the United States, we have our politicians constantly going after our AR-15s, and they do that when somebody uses one for nefarious purposes and goes out and shoots somebody with an AR-15. They run out and say, we need to ban AR-15s. Somebody uses a pump shotgun. It may run for 1 or 2 runs on CNN or MSNBC, and then they forget about it because it doesn't fit the narrative. Now, they have constant calls for gun control here in Switzerland as well by the same leftists that want to disarm, and they're also under pressure from the European Union to disarm and fall in line with European gun laws under the EU. And it's kind of interesting, in talking with the Swiss gun owners, what they use against them is the suicide rate. So they use what I'm told is an inflated number of roughly 300 suicides per year, and they use that number to justify banning guns of all types here in Switzerland. And so groups like Pro-Tel are constantly fighting that battle. So where we think on the left in the United States, banning guns will prevent crime, here in Switzerland they want to ban guns to prevent suicide. It's just as asinine. So I'm going to join Pro-Tel. While walking around at the gun shop, I noticed an MP5 SD looking type of firearm, except it was built on an APC-9. It was the APC-9 SD. Of course, this piqued my interest, and I went back to the guys at B&T and asked if I could shoot one. Check this out. This is the new APC-9 SD. Like its German counterpart, the MP5 SD, this has an integral suppressor that works with gas ports that are drilled just in front of the projectile. So you can take standard velocity NATO ball 124 grain supersonic ammunition and fire it from this weapon, and it will slow the bullet's velocity down to a subsonic level, and then the suppressor suppresses the gunshot. What does that mean? It means you get a very quiet gun with standard, normally supersonic ammunition. You don't have to buy specialty ammunition. So this one is select fire. This has safe, semi, and full. There is no burst capability. Has ambi controls, pretty much all the same features that you would see on the APC-9 already on the US market. Now, these are going to be available here very soon. By the time you see this video, they may already be on the US market as semi-automatic firearms. The suppressor that this can uses can also be used on HK clones of the SD type. So there is that compatibility. All right, let's shoot this. I'm gonna fire a few rounds in semi-automatic first. All the controls are the same. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into semi mode. And these are 124 grain ball rounds. And let's see what this sounds like. Okay, that's quiet. That's surprisingly quiet because they're 124 grain NATO rounds. All right, I'm gonna flip it over to full auto and fire a few short bursts. All right, a little bit of gas there. You see the gas coming out of the ejection port. Extremely controllable. The gun may look heavy, but the suppressor is lightweight. It balances very well. It's not a heavy gun. That is really, really impressive. All right, have one more magazine here. Again, just standard 124 grain ball. All right, that, ladies and gentlemen, is entirely too much fun. What a cool firearm. The APC-9 SD may look heavy, but the weight is very light, as I'd mentioned. The can looks like it adds a bunch of muzzle weight, and it doesn't. It has a cyclic rate of around 1,200 rounds a minute. We have a target down range at 15 yards. I'm going to take 30 rounds of 124 grain ball, and I'm going to do a good old-fashioned 30-round mag dump. Let's see how controllable it is. A little bit high there, but controllable. But the gas, woo! All right, let's go check out my handiwork. Here we go. Right in here with a couple that went up. Not too shabby. That was a lot of fun. Guys, Karl has surprised me with something, honestly, I've never even seen in pictures. If you guys are fans of H&K, you're going to want to see this. Can you guys identify this? The gun is marked HK MP2000 caliber 9mm, and this one is serial number 6, and that's because there are 6 of them in existence. It has a suppressor on it, and this would have been a Series 1 or an early prototype. This one has a selector lever that's ambidextrous, and you'll notice there's a little window here. You have 0 for safe, 1 for a single shot, 3 for 3-round burst, 30 for mag dump, 30-round magazine. The charging handle on the first series is on the side, and it's a very short throw. So you can pull the bolt to the rear, actually have it locked. I'll explain that in a moment. You can pull the bolt to the rear and engage it, I think. Let's lock it open with an empty magazine. All right, so the charging handle is locked to the rear. So you would insert a fresh magazine, charge the weapon by letting this go home, pulling it to the rear and letting it go home. On this side, you have a lever. This lever, if you push it down, will lock the bolt in the forward position. So when you fire the weapon, the submachine gun, it'll fire the shot, one shot. It won't cycle. It will not kick out a spent case, most likely for covert operations where you don't want to leave a spent casing behind. You release the bolt, recharge the weapon. You can fire it again, but you have to leave the bolt unlocked to fire semi-automatic or in fully automatic mode. Here on the bottom, this little foldable key that comes down and turns. If you're familiar with the MP5 SD, the MP5 SD has ports drilled just in front of the chamber. When the bullet fires, those gases are vented off into the suppressor, and it slows the bullet down. It makes a supersonic bullet subsonic. So by turning this, you can either open or close those gas ports. Series 1 gun. Of course, you have the collapsible stock as well. 6 of those exist. I should show you the magazine release while I'm at it. Polymer, 30-round magazine. Magazine releases in the trigger guard. All right. Fast forward to the SMG2. The charging handle, very short throw, has now moved to the top of the gun. Larger suppressor. We have diopter sights, which were present on the original Series 1 as well. Here on the side, have a forward assist. Gone from the functionality is the ability to lock the bolt closed. However, we still have the collapsible stock. we now have, there's no windows anymore. Now you just have safe, semi, 3-round burst, and 34. Hold the trigger back and it'll dump the magazine. 2 new ambi buttons just in front of the trigger. They're on both sides of the gun. This one is your magazine release. This one is your bolt release. The lever here, marked L and H. This is for low velocity. That means when it's set to this position, it's going to take a supersonic load. It's going to reduce that bullet's velocity by tapping gases off to subsonic, making the weapon more quiet. You flip the lever to high velocity. Now that gas is not tapped off and the bullet remains supersonic. You want to see me shoot it? I want to shoot it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put ears on. I can't believe Karl's going to let me do this. Are you guys ready? All right, I'm just going to fire it in semi-automatic. I have 10 rounds loaded. I have the weapon set to low velocity. I have standard military ball loaded. All right, so it will be a supersonic ball round. Insert the magazine, top charging handle. The weapon is now loaded. You have 2 pistol grips. I'm just going to set it to semi-automatic on a low cycle, and I'll fire 5 rounds. All right, weapon on safe. I'm going to flip the lever to high velocity. I'm going to fire 5 more rounds. Notice the bolt locked open. I drop the magazine by pushing the button. And this is your bolt release. Karl, I can't thank you enough for bringing this out of your personal collection, both of these firearms, and letting me shoot it. Simply amazing. And if you guys are fans of H&K, you probably haven't seen this very often, if at all. All right, guys, this is cool. The new APC 300 Blackout pistol is destined for the US market, and this is a rack of the very first guns that will be imported into the country. Now, I've been told that I can pick my pistol, and I'm going to have Karl from B&T sign my gun. Once it gets imported into the United States, we'll do a more exhaustive video with it. We will do some shooting with it here while we're in Switzerland, but I get a pick from this rack of the very first shipment of guns. They're all pistols, and how am I going to pick one? They all look identical. Close my eyes, and this is my gun. Let's see what my serial number is. This is so cool. All right, here we go. Here's my APC 300 Blackout. We have the serial number of US 1823-154. So I'm gonna have Karl sign this. It's gonna be imported into the United States. We are gonna go downstairs and do a little bit of shooting with it and kind of go over the features. But once I get it into the United States, I may brace it, then Form 1 it. I'll decide that later. But we'll do some accuracy testing stateside, suppression testing. But today we'll get to test fire my new 300 Blackout APC 300. Man, that is so cool. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Hey, Karl. Can you do something really quick for me?
Yep. Off. Jesus Christ.
Could you sign right here for me? Thank you, my friend. I wanted to surprise you.
It's the first autograph I ever gave in 27 years on the gun.
I'm flattered. Oh, thank you. We'll bleep it. Look at that, guys. That's amazing. And we totally surprised him. Such good fun. You guys know I absolutely love my TP9. Well, while in Switzerland, I got to see a prototype of a gun I simply can't live without. Check this out. So I show up here and I get to see this thing. It's a TP series pistol. It's just not a TP9. It's a TP 380. It's a minigun. It's like 1/3 the scale. Check this little guy out. All right, so a few things have changed because of the size of the gun. First of all, there's no locking mechanism like the TP9. It's just a straight blowback gun. The charging handle is right here on top. Has a 1913 rail here for an optic. And this is a prototype. Has a little teeny tiny folding stock. The fire controls are otherwise familiar to you. Here's your magazine release right here. Cross block safety. Bolt release. It uses a little tiny miniature TP9 style magazine, except this one comes to a single point versus just having a double stack magazine. I have 15 rounds loaded, and it's a prototype, and I'm going to fire it. I am actually excited about this little gun. I hope we see it on the US market. I've never fired this thing before. Okay, I'm sure about it. I love it. I gotta have one of these. This is the coolest little thing. I love the old open bolt Mac 380s. I think they're the perfect size. This is the tiniest little gun ever, and it's in 380. Yeah. One's gonna come into the United States. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us to take a factory tour of B&T in Switzerland. I have to admit, guys, it was probably one of the most fun factory tours I've ever had. One of the biggest reasons for that is, of course, the Swiss are wonderful people, the food was delicious, and the mountains were beautiful, but I got to handle some very historical pieces, not just handle them, shoot them. It was amazing. I'm looking forward to the VP9 coming to the US market, and I'm looking forward to the further development of the 380 version of this. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, the best possible way to do that is to become a Patreon supporter. There's a link down below. Please click that link and check it out. Also, if you'd like to support us, another great way is to pick up a Mac t-shirt. You can do that by going to forgefromfreedom.com and checking out the Mac collection. And last but not least, swing by and check us out at Copper Custom. You can find us there at coppercustom.com. And we love B&T products so much, we actually carry them at the store. Guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.